So I think we're going to change things a little bit and get some audience members to participate. This, this talk is about dialogical storytelling. It's just not about storytelling. So what I've learned in my graduate work, thank you, Nancy Southern from Saybrook University, the chair of my dissertation committee, by the way. Woohoo, Nancy! Come on, wake up, let's go. You had Tony Collins in the house. Then you had the nonverbal king of Boston. Like, let's go. Go from rigid to loose, fast. Openness might be a better word. So words are powerful. So the Storytelling Manifesto was an artifact from my TED Talk. But what I really learned in the process of taking education, my academic journey, and stitching it together with my career trajectory was that I was really called to be the bilinguist of academic and organizational life. And I didn't really know that. But identity, story, or specifically narrative, past, current, future, some of you have experienced in our previous workshop called Story Like You Mean It, and relational significance, or really relational responsiveness. That is how a leader and a member create a relationship, or a leader and a co-leader, or a person and a person, right? Because they're actually people underneath the titles. Those are the most significant human activity systems that comprise organizations today. And unfortunately, we've had this mechanistic view. So I started thinking about the time I was here last, and I ended up in a UFO. Rochelle, come on up here. And I ended up with Rochelle. Let's hear it for Rochelle. So Rochelle and I were in this UFO that you see, and I was wearing some pretty wild pants in that picture. Those are cool pants, right, Rodrigo? And what happened in this UFO?
Well, we had a group of people together, and there was this opportunity that just came through where we said, hey, or I guess I said, hey. And I said, hey, I have this idea. We'll put one person in the center of the circle, and we'll give them a word bath. And we'll share with them everything that we adore about them, whether we've known them for years or just met them. And this person will just, like you would take a bath, they'll just be bathed in words.
We could do that to someone, like right now. Tony, come here. Let's hear it for Tony Collins, everybody. But we need a few people. We'll leave the controller on the floor. Sit down. So relax. This is the appreciation chair. We're going to change things up a little bit. So what do you do in this word bath? Who else could be here? You could be here, Tara, right? You could come on. Yeah, why don't you come up? Rodrigo, you can come up. Dave, you can come up. Who else wants to come up? Somebody else. Come on up. This is going to be different. It's going to mess up the entire cinematography. We don't care. Let's go, Jonathan, right here. So what would we do now? Can you instruct us a little bit?
So what you want to do is just take a moment and reflect on how Tony and his story and his essence has positively affected your life, and share it.
Can we touch him? Yeah. All right. He's a big dude. Let's feel his muscles.
You can definitely touch him, which will help him ground the experience into his body. Yeah. I'd be honored to start. So Tony, I want to thank you for the talk that you gave and for your sincerity, because I felt is what you shared with us was not only your story, but how we could apply it in our lives. And the fact that when you answered the phone and it led to your wife, it just made me feel like anytime I feel that call to pick up the phone and answer, and to have hope that you never know what's on the other side. And so what you gave us was hope, and I will always remember that. Thank you.
Okay. I want to thank you, Tony, for sharing your strength and such a courageous openness with all of us, and showing us how something that can seem like a step back, a setback, a struggle, a challenge, you can take that and turn that into a message that's so powerful for so many people, because we're all going through our own versions of that. And the ability to openly share that is something that we all need from others in our lives. So thank you.
Tony, you brought back the understanding of determination and commitment in my mind, of like when you want something, like show up early, leave late, and stay committed and focused. And you also sharing when you're at McDonald's and you had a number one. Good choice. With high C, and I was like, oh, I'm 8 years old again. I think what it really showed me was you had a feeling, and you trusted your instinct to go back, which led you to the love of your life, who then you married. And it brought me back to like being committed and remembering to like trust in yourself. And I just want to thank you for that.
Man. Woo! Is this hard?
So mine is simple. You really are living proof that dreams can come true. And I have 2 little boys, and they're super athletes. They think they are. And they're pretty committed. And, I think it reminds me that I think when I look at them, maybe they're not going to be big enough. Maybe they're not going to be strong enough. But after hearing your story, you would have never known where you would have ended up. But it was exactly where you wanted to be. And it's living proof that dreams can come true. So it's motivational.
What I loved hearing was how you did things in spite of resistance to it. And you didn't want to, and you did it anyway, and it paid off.
First and foremost, thank you for your contribution to the Miami Dolphins organization. Truly do appreciate that. Wish there were more of you. I really want to thank you for your words, and we've met in the past, and we had the opportunity one more time, and I had the opportunity one more time to hear your story, and this is going to be really embedded in me to follow along my dreams, and it's a tough challenge for what I'm about to face, but your words really help me just persevere, just stay on track and make it one day. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So thank you, Tony.
Oh, Tony. So, Tony, when you showed up in my life, you were as energetic as you were tonight, so it was hard to miss you. But then when you told me the other day, when I was in the driveway coming home late from night, it was late at night, I was coming home from work, and I was still on the phone with Tony, which is sort of the way it goes. And Tony said that he, what did you say, you changed my name in your phone. And I didn't change yours yet, but I'm going to change it, okay, to just plus thinking. Because everything that you say reminds us the power of the internal story that we tell ourselves and how powerful that is in relating our stories, our thoughts and feelings, and our relatedness to others. And it's a powerful mentoring role that you serve to fathers and mothers and friends and organizational members, human beings that you collide with. You're in schools around the country now because you had the courage to start telling your story. So I want to thank you for that, man. Yes.
This is really powerful because, I'm really not supposed to be here right now. I should be dead. And God spared my life. And I didn't know the reason then, but I know now to tell my story so other kids and other people won't have to go through the things that I've gone through in my life. And so, thank you.
You can get up. Now, thank you, random volunteers. That was really cool. So thank our volunteers, because nobody knew we were going to do this. And so I want to tell you that this is what we did in a UFO randomly. And you have the power to do this sort of thing, to realize that your story can be actually related to other human beings. And I think that we haven't given the space to do this in organizations today. And it troubles me so much. We actually miss the opportunity to do it in containers where we have control over the variables, our homes. We can do it in areas where we participate recreationally. We don't choose to do it. That concerns me. What also concerns me is I think I lost my clicker. But we did it here. And I remember this one gal, Chelsea, didn't like to receive in that moment. And it reminded me watching Tony, nonverbal cue, put his head down, not wanting to receive and be honored for the great human being that you are. But then over time, his shoulders dropped over his shoulders, and he felt more connected and integrated to his calling. And this can happen. I want to show you 2 videos. We'll go with video 1. This is a great musician, very innovative. I think this is in 5/4 back in the day. This is Dave Brubeck's version of Take 5. I'm only going to play it for a few seconds. You know this tune, you've heard it before in elevators. But 50 plus years ago, it was really innovative. Let's go to the next version of this by Al Jarreau and Kurt Elling. Nasty stuff, isn't it? Beautiful. We'll wrap that video up. Now these are this sheet music is sort of the same, right? So the inner story that we have, so this is about not just dialogical story, but it's about outside storytelling. And then you have a dialogue, well, the dialogue with self, and then the external dialogue, the ones with others. And you can see and feel the difference when it's done in a way that's really you. And, you know, Kurt Elling and Al Jarreau, those two are just wild. And we could probably get lost. And in the spirit of keeping track of time, I figured let's move on. But I think that we're finally at a stage where we have to honor the fact that relational responsiveness or dialogos, remember the previous lesson, right? Logos, meaning, dia, pass through your lips with meaning. That this is a powerful something that needs to be a rhetorical bridge or a way of thinking to get the inside story to the outside world, the human activity systems in which you're nested in your life. So there were a couple of symbols I wanted to bring to your attention as we get ready to wrap in about 2 minutes. Let's give it a go. This is your story. So this is a Frankl quote that I like. Everything can be taken from a man, woman. I changed that because I think women come before men anyway, and they do. That's how I ended up on the planet. But one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given circumstances, to choose one's own way. Now, think about this for a minute. This symbol, the path of life, actually, it looks like an ampersand facing this way. Think about that as the way in which essence is breathed into your being. And think about the other ampersand pushing out as being the way you choose to engage in practices in your life. In the center, this is an infinity symbol. And I always think this is reflection and this is reaction. So this is, I'm going into something, and then I'm coming out, and then I'm manifesting practices. I think this is a powerful way to view your life, and I think that symbols are often in our 21st century world glossed over, the significance of these ancient symbols. This is another one I'd like to tell you a quick story about. This is from the Manifesto as well. Love is within all of us, show us yours. So this symbol, my love is alive, actually comes from a Barry Wright song. And if you know this song, I'm not going to sing it, but we bought the rights at our company to the song because we used it. We had a gentleman named Jimmy Allen, who is an artist that we have in our organization. And he was an American Idol top 100 guy back in the day, just a few years ago. And we used this song so that the children whose mom, if a mom or dad passed because of 9/11, this was Tuesday's Children. Tuesday's Children was the organization that actually helped these children go through that transition. And those children created an organization called Common Bond, Operation Common Bond, which helped all victims of terrorism around the world recover from suffering. So we created this charm for that organization, Common Bond, and we held an event at Chelsea Pier in New York City. And we had Macy Gray come in and play, and she donated her performance, actually, for the children, and we had an auction. And so My Love is Alive was a way for us to think about how language can help reframe a negative experience, because love really is always alive. It's alive in all of us, all of the time. If something tragic has happened, that memory trace, that person's relationship with you has transformed you as a function of the activities. So this is a powerful symbol to us. And as you know, I believe some of you know this already, that your work, our work, is really your positive story. And so this charm is the positivity charm, which is worn by many people to remind themselves that positivity should be centered in our lives and chosen. There are more charms, and there are more things to say. But what I'm most compelled to say now is just some thanks to Amanda. I think that often we forget the significance of someone's life path and career path really slamming into each other, and how they live out their journey consciously, inviting others to participate. And you do this all of the time. And I wonder, do we forget to say thank you to you? And as you bring this work of Catalyst and the Crash Pad projects all over the world, and you will bring this company all over the world, I hope deeply that everyone here shares the stories that emerge from the yesterday, today, and tomorrow to others, so that we can begin transforming human activity systems in the communities in which we sit daily, and that we can consciously begin to participate in ones outside of those communities to transform human relationships in the 21st century. So thanks so much for hearing my words on dialogical storytelling.